Hi and welcome to this webinar on customising your HR settings within Appogee HR. This is part 2 of the customisation series. I hope you enjoyed the Leave Config webinar. If you've not yet had a chance to watch it but would like the link, please let us know and we can send this over to you. Just by way of introduction then, I'm Jasmin Terry. I'm the Customer Experience Specialist here at Appogee HR and one half of the Customer Success team alongside Megan. And today we're going to be going through the HR config side of things for you. So what we're going to cover in today's call, we're going to cover categories and fields config, so the customization, security and link fields, setting up notifications, record generation, location config, and also checklists. So there's a lot to cover, but we're going to help you make the system work for your requirements through this customization. First up is categories and fields. To customize this, you're going to want to go into Profile and Admin and Config and choose Records, Categories and Fields. In here you'll find all of the different categories on the left-hand side, and then on the right-hand side you can either configure fields or configure field security. For each of these, you'll want to click into them to configure both the field security and also the record security, which will then follow through the system. If we click into Configure Fields, you'll see that it takes us onto this page where you can see the different subcategories and also select a mode. Let's look at the security mode. You'll see that for each role you can select for each field the security, whether that's edit, read, no access. You can select all of that in this table. Now let's look at edit mode. In this mode you'll be able to edit all of the different fields within this table and add new. You can select configure to configure the field type, whether that's table, text or drop down. You can set notifications, set whether it needs to be mandatory, and also whether you want it to be enabled for the onboarding portal or the HR onboarding when you add an employee. This helps to make it a lot more self-service. If you have these fields enabled for the onboarding portal, it will make it really self-service for the employees so they can just go in and fill out this information before they've even started, which will help you reduce time on the onboarding process internally. To add a linked field, select New Field on the right-hand side. Name your field and then select Linked Field from the drop-down under the field type. Then click Configure. Here you'll want to choose the category that this linked field is relevant for. Then select a table field that you'd like it to link to, and then select the target row. Then select OK, and you'll see that this has now linked this field together. Next, let's look at the preview mode. Here you'll be able to preview for each role what the different fields look like based on the security that you've set up. You'll be able to see what the different security looks like for all the employees, managers, HR managers, and the restricted roles. You can also select preview for each of the individual subcategories, as well as edit the fields in each different subcategory and also review the security. So this can be super customised to what you want the system to look like and what you want your staff to have access to. Next up is notifications. Within Appogee HR, you can configure notifications to trigger at certain points in time. Go to Profile, Admin Config, Notifications. Here you'll see you can set up notifications for employee profiles, employee records, and company documents, both field change notifications and relative date notifications. An example of a relative date notification would be 3 months before the birthday, for example, so that you could be notified that a birthday is up and coming for one of your employees. Field change notifications allow you to be notified when something has changed within the system. For example, if an address or name has been changed in the system, you can be notified as such. To create a new notification, select whether you'd like to do this for profiles, records, or documents, and then select New Notification. For this example, we've gone with Document Type Notification. So you just set when you would like this to be triggered. You can then set the notification details of who should be notified of this and include a message. You can also auto-assign a checklist if that is relevant to the notification. Record generation templates within Appogee HR allow you to more seamlessly create employee records using a pre-populated template. Examples of this could be where you're creating an employee record which is regularly used, such as employee contracts, that you'd like the system to just auto-populate for you. To do this, go into Profile, Admin and Config, and choose Record Templates. Then click Create. Here you can select the record category that you'd like this template to be applicable to and name your template. Once you have your doc file ready to upload, click Choose File. Make sure to include placeholder tags within the folder so that Appogee HR can more easily map your fields against the fields in Appogee HR. The wizard will then validate your file and try to find these fields for you. Now Appogee HR has found your placeholder tags, you just need to map the Appogee HR fields against these placeholders. As you can see, for employee name, I'm choosing the employee profile, basic information, and then full name to map it against the correct field. Then continue to do this with all of your placeholder tags to ensure that the right information is going to be auto-populated within the document. For the start date, you'll be able to choose a formatting option, so you can select which format the date is actually viewed in. This will pop up once you've selected all of the placeholder fields. As you can see, there are some options in the drop-down list here for you to choose from. Then, once you're done, select Publish. Then your template will be published. You can go to Preview to view the original document that you uploaded with the placeholders and what that will look like. You can then download this by the original file or PDF if you wish, and you can click to view the history. This document can then be reviewed and revised if you have later versions that you need to upload. Next up is Location Config. Within Appogee HR, you can track employee locations and set up specific locations for employees to track their time against. If you go into Location and Config, you'll see Locations, Notifications and Security. If you click into the Locations module, you'll see a list of your locations that you have already set up. This can be things like home, offices and client spaces. You can also add here whether they have different zones and whether there is an alert threshold, maximum capacity, and whether the capacity can be exceeded. Below on the right is where you can configure zones for already set up locations and also edit or delete certain locations as well. To add a new one, just simply press the Add button on the bottom left-hand corner. Here you can set up a location name, add an address if there is one, and also can configure zones for new locations. Next up is notifications. In here you can select employee location planning notifications, so send weekly reminders to all employees to book in their working locations. You can set the time of this and also the notification type. Then you have the HR Manager office capacity notifications. This will send a notification to HR managers when the alert threshold is reached and also when the maximum capacity is also reached. This feature is useful if you only have a certain amount of desks per office or per zone. You can have an alert when those are getting booked up. Next up is security. There are 3 levels of access that you can give employees to the location calendar. You can either give them no access, so they can only see their own location. You can give them access to see team members or team managers, or you could give all employees access to see each other's calendars. Now let's look at checklists. If you go to the left-hand menu and find the checklist menu, you'll be sent to My Checklists. Typically, we see checklists used for onboarding and offboarding, but there are lots of use cases that you can use the checklist module for. As you can see along the top, you've got My Checklists, Assign Checklists, Checklist Templates, My Notifications and Actions, and Actions and Notifications. If we click into a checklist template, you'll see what the employee sees. You can see all of the different things that they need to complete within this checklist. They can write comments, and they can also select when it's been completed. You'll be able to see a progress chart there as well for the percentage and also who it's assigned to. If you go to Create New Template, you'll be able to create a new checklist template. Go to Default Items to add in the items that you'd like to be ticked off. Simply add in the text that you need and then press the plus button. You can then auto-assign this if you wish. If you press yes, you can choose when to auto-assign this, either when the employee is set to joining, active or former, and what users you want to assign this to. You can also set default notifications, either on assignment, completion, and who you'd like this to go to, and what text needs to be sent when it is sent. Then just press the plus button and make sure to save your changes. Next, go to Assign Checklists. Here are all the checklists that you have assigned out and what progress and due date they have. If you go into Checklist Templates, you can see all of the templates that have been set up, as well as the auto-assign rules, and you can also assign from this page as well. Next is My Actions and Notifications, and you can filter this by status and also by type. And then Actions and Notifications will show you everything in the system for actions and notifications, and you can also filter this down as well, depending on what information you need to see. And that brings us to the end of the webinar for today. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you have any suggestions on what other topics you'd like us to cover, please do email us at customersuccess@appogeehr.com. And if you need any technical support, do contact our team at help@appogeehr.com. Please do check out the Leave Config webinar if you've not already watched it, and I look forward to speaking to you next time.